Am I racist? That was a question I had to ponder last week with all the events that were going on in the world. So it's so easy to think, no, I'm not. And I try and live my life where I include everyone. But when I sat back to think about, my life and where I've come from and where I learned, is sometimes I have been racist. Sometimes perhaps I didn't stand up when I should have. Sometimes it was too scary to do that. But given when I was reading what Brene Brown said about white privilege, is that's my privilege. I can step out of it. I don't have to acknowledge that it's going on. Whereas somebody who's in it has to acknowledge what's going on. My privilege came in the form of I could go to the pharmacy and get Band-Aids the same color as my skin. I could go to the toy store and buy dolls that look like me. Whereas a lot of other cultures can't do that. We had set a standard of norms and we all just played within that, thinking that was what was. And that's not good or bad, it's how it was. But as Maya Angelou says, when we know better, we do better. So now again, history is repeating itself. We're having these marches again where we need to be inclusive. Now, what comes to my mind when I think of anti-racist protests is that we are moving on the wrong thing. Mother Teresa would always say she would never go to an anti-war protest. She would go to a peaceful protest. And I don't know what the opposite of racist is. It may be an inclusion protest, something that pulls us together. Because as a coach, I know words are very, very important. And so when we go anti-racist, anti-bullying, anti-anything, it doesn't solve the problem. It actually, in our subconscious, is still only seeing racist, is still only seeing bullying, seeing all those hate, all that kind of stuff that keeps rolling around in our subconscious. And so we're not helping our system create new neural pathways onto what we actually want. So I think as we're moving in a way of awareness, we need to start changing the dialogue too. I was watching a video of another lady and she said, again on words, when we use black and white or the black sheep of the family, those words, we're assuming that black means not as good. And what if we took the color out of it? What if it was just either a good or bad decision or here or there or either or? It doesn't have to have a color to it, and it's things that I never even thought about before. And, I try and be as inclusive as I can. And sometimes, as I was watching another webinar, was, sometimes we go in and out or overcompensate to try and prove that we're extra nice or extra inclusive instead of just being with that person. And I think when we all have that bigger vision, which is what I'm seeing, we want that change is to have equality. We do need to speak up, even when we're afraid for those who can't speak up. And it's very important to do that. And it's not easy. Doing the right thing is never wrong, but it's never easy. As a final thought, Jane Elliott, who did the blue-eyed, brown-eyed experiment in the 60s, and her big thing is there's only one race, we're just human. And she said, racial prejudice is an emotional commitment to ignorance. So my commitment is to get educated. And I know we're hearing that from the Black community is listen and learn and then take action. And that's where I'm contemplating the next little while here is the actions that I can do to make this world a better place and be a better human being. So please feel free to comment below, like or share. Life is now. Tap in.